Just a quick thank you to everyone who's been using my EA creator code. It really means a lot. If you're picking up new Sims 4 packs, just enter SimmerySims as the promo code at checkout in the EA app or on the Sims website and click apply. It won't give you a discount, but it is a totally free way to support me and my channel. Thank you again and happy simming! What's up everyone? My name is Marie, welcome to my channel, and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video, we're back in the world of Henford-on-Bagley, and I know that I sort of recently built a cottage here in Henford-on-Bagley as well for the Not So Berry challenge, and today I'm building another cottage in Henford-on-Bagley also for the pink generation of the Not So Berry challenge. So this is the second cottage that I'm building, literally in the same neighborhood as well. I will say for the Not So Berry challenge, if you're familiar with it, you'll know that each build is usually kind of inspired by the color scheme of that specific generation for the Not So Berry challenge, which in my case is pink. I will say I did not go all out with pink this time like I did for my previous cottage because, you know, we've been there, we've done that, and I kind of like to, for this one, I kind of felt like toning it down a little bit. It's definitely pink inspired, but more so for the interior than the exterior really. So that's kind of what I was trying to go for, and I think it actually turned out really cute. Now, the reason that I'm doing another one for the Not So Berry challenge is because we've literally outgrown the other one. We've had some, you know, unexpected things happening in the Not So Berry challenge gameplay wise, which makes it so that we have a literal, like an extra sim in the household these days that I was kind of planning for, like one entire like extra sim, and that's kind of, you know, sort of crucial because I like to not go overboard, especially with my cottages, like bedroom wise, size wise. Usually they're not super spacious, and I did not have the space to add another bedroom to it. And also I really wanted some space to be able to start a small business from home. So, you know, I didn't really have a choice. It was time to build another cottage for my Sims to move into. And I'm definitely in my cottage era. I want to say, like, I'm really enjoying cottages these days. It's probably because of the time of year, you know, spring going into summer. It is literally June. It's June, what, 3rd today? The day that I'm recording this voiceover, it's literally June 3rd. So that is crazy. It's kind of almost officially summer, and that is insanely wild. But I feel like I just really enjoy building cottages this time of year. I will say it is starting to, yeah, fall is starting in my game, like gameplay wise, and I'm already playing in this specific cottage, like we have moved already. So I'm excited for fall in my game in Henford-on-Bagley. I will say, I think that's just gonna be so like, just so cute and cozy, and the colors are gonna be so nice. But yeah, anyway, this cottage here, you don't only have to use it for the Not So Berry challenge, obviously you can use it for anything. And it actually does have, now let me count, I think it has 4 bedrooms total. Yeah, it has 4 bedrooms total, one of them being downstairs on the ground floor, and then 3 bedrooms up on the 2nd floor. We also have a couple of bathrooms, which is nice because we literally only had 1 full bathroom to begin with in the previous cottage that we were using for gameplay, and that was starting to become a struggle. I did make it so that the space that I had kind of reserved for a small business from home, I had to turn that into another bedroom with an ensuite. So later on we did have 2 bathrooms, but still, like, it was a little messy and it was just not as convenient. So for this one, I think we have 1 full bathroom downstairs and then 2 full bathrooms upstairs, one of them being a hall bath, the other one being a ensuite to the main bedroom. So yeah, that's what I ended up doing here. As you can see, we also have a really cute like gardening sort of area outside. I also decided to give them either a cow or a llama, and I actually, gameplay wise, I went for the llama. I thought that would be so cute. So that's what I ended up doing, and yeah, it's just the perfect cottage for your super cozy Henford-on-Bagley cottage living gameplay where you can do gardening, where you can take care of your livestock. Maybe if you have horse ranch, it'd be super cute to add a couple of mini goats or mini sheep for that matter. I think that would be really cute. Maybe some chickens, you know, that would be adorable. I did initially actually forget to place the little rabbit whole kind of like rabbit tree trunk, and also the same goes for the birds. I did forget those, so when you're gonna download this off the gallery and you want the bunnies, then you're gonna have to place those yourself. But I did do that for my personal gameplay, and it's just so cute with all the bunnies hopping around, and it is a literal dream. So for this house, you may notice that I'm sort of going for an English like stone cottage kind of look and feel. That's what I was going for. I was not working off of any reference pictures for this one because I just kind of had a vision of what I wanted. Shape-wise, I wanted this to be sort of simple, just, you know, a main like cottage shape, maybe a couple of bump outs, maybe a cute little covered porch that I ended up doing as well for this one, only in the front because we literally have no space in the back. I was using all the space for this entire lot because it's not the biggest lot, and I had a lot of things that I wanted to fit here, and also I wanted the house to be sort of spacious in a way. And also, by the way, if you're wondering why I'm building it sideways on the lot, I always do that for these lots in Henford-on-Bagley. This is in the more downtown area, but more so like right across from where the pub is and right across from that field where there's the Finchwick Fair every Saturday. So it's on, like, it borders on the actual town square. And I really like these lots. I think they're so cozy, like right there in sort of like by the town square, and it's just so cozy gameplay wise as well. There are so many Sims around and like all the activities and the little food stalls that you can go to and get your groceries and whatnot. It is just insanely cozy. But the annoying thing is the lighting for these lots. It just, obviously I also build for like aesthetic purposes. Like I take screenshots, I make speed builds. I want everything to sort of look pretty and cutesy. And the way these lots are, you know, located, it makes it so that you can never get any direct sunlight hitting the front of the lot if you were to build using the actual front of the lot as the front of your house. And that always bugs me so much. And I just don't like it. So that's why I usually build sideways on these lots so that the orientation is a little different. It also just kind of looks interesting. I do really like how it looks. And then you can actually have some direct sunlight hitting the front of the lot, or of your house, if you will. So that's what I ended up doing for this one. Again, I've definitely done it before, but I also just really like the orientation this way, where you can just sort of have a pathway down the middle, and then you have your house on one side and maybe your gardening area or livestock area or both on the other side like we have for this one. I just think it's super cozy, and I had a lot of fun building this one. And yeah, so as you can see the exterior kind of come together. I kept it very simple as well with like wallpapers and whatnot. Usually I like to combine a bunch of wallpapers, but since this is inspired by like English stone cottages, I kind of wanted to keep it simple and just go for an exterior brick. I am using like an accent sort of like different type of stone here out front, and also for the side bump out to sort of have it not look too, you know, matchy. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think it still would have been really cute if I were to use the same wallpaper all around. I think that would have really suited this house. But regardless, it still looks really cute with the two different tones as well. I also ended up creating some dormers for this one, and I was thinking of making those actually accessible with a ladder or whatnot, but I actually didn't end up doing that because it was a little bit too messy of a process, and the space up there is so small that you can't really use it for anything. It could make cute storage, or like a really cute like you know, hidden sort of office. We do have a writer in this household, so you know, like a little office up there would be really cute. But I am using this entire side bump out for a nice office slash home business kind of space, so it wasn't really very necessary. And also gameplay wise, routing up to those dormers using a ladder, it would just be, you know, it would be a whole process and a whole thing, and I wasn't really going to use it, so I decided not to do it. But you can obviously put a ladder in if you want to and use those dormers yourself, because it is, in that sense, it is functional space. So yeah, you could use it in that sense. But here you can see I'm just kind of going around placing all my windows. I was really staying true to Henford-on-Bagley cottage living windows. I was really trying to embrace that style. I'm using the wallpapers, using the windows from it, not the doors, because we don't really have any too wide like front door types of doors. We have front door types of doors, but like they're so small, and I wanted something a little larger for this one. So I actually combined it with Seasons doors, and I think those look pretty good. It's not at all the same wood tone or anything, but you know, there's a covered porch over it, so you can't really see it that well anyway. And the mismatched vibes kind of work for this house as well. I kind of like that it's a little bit more messy in that sense. And I also really like the doors or the windows that I used with the green shutters. I think those are so pretty. And yeah, I was just definitely having a lot of fun with the Henford on Bagley like cottage living windows and whatnot. So yeah, and then here we're doing some landscaping. I didn't really have the most space for my lush landscaping that I always really like to do, but I still kind of managed to do it anyway, even though it's not that big of like flower, like greenery patches, but I still managed to do quite a bit of landscaping here, I feel, and it's definitely still looking pretty lush. But you know, I did need some space for Sims to actually be able to route around. I also needed some space to place a yoga mat, which I initially forgot, but I did need it for my own gameplay, so I placed it later on. And it's just, it would just be the coziest space to do some yoga. I placed it out front by the fence for, you know, the cow area or llama area. And it just is the cutest space to like do some morning yoga. You know, it's just so dreamy. And yeah, here you can see I'm just messing around with a little bit of terrain paint. I'm just kind of coloring in the gardening area. I was trying to be a little bit, you know, more creative with the shape for the gardening space, and I think it turned out really cute. I actually really like how it ended up looking with the gardening patches and stuff that I used. I also placed like a little stone like pathway down the middle, so that was really cute as well. And I was definitely at this point, I was just really trying to, you know, spend as much time as I could on the landscaping, and I was kind of trying to put off doing the inside because I was kind of dreading that for some reason. I was just really having fun with the exterior for this one, and for the interior, I just wasn't so sure what I wanted to do. I will say, as soon as I got started, I felt super inspired, and I love how especially the living area came together. I think that one was so cute. And now that we're building in Henford on Bagley, actually, I feel like it's very on theme for the probably next expansion pack that could potentially be fairies. I mean, there was a leak. We didn't even talk about this at all just yet on the channel here. I did talk about it over on stream on Twitch, which, by the way, is also where I play my Not So Berry challenge. If you're wondering about that, I play it over there every Thursday. And my second channel, More Simri, is where I upload all my Twitch VODs as well. And there's a playlist for Not So Berry there. So if you're interested in watching it from the start, I mean, we've been going for a while. But if you want to watch back some older episodes or anything else, then I do have a playlist for all my Not So Berry episodes over there as well, in case you're curious, and it's linked in the description as well. But yeah, the next expansion pack leak was about fairies. I think it said The Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature as the leaked title. Obviously, we don't know if that's true, but it was leaked by, I believe it was Instant Gaming, and they've gotten it right before. They've gotten it right with, I think, Life and Death, and also Love Struck, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe For Rent. I'm not exactly sure, but they've gotten it right before, so I wouldn't be surprised. And then, of course, we also have, if you've been keeping up with the news, you'll know that there's some sort of like little sneak peek sort of website kind of just existing at the moment that keeps like sort of telling you about little, you know, little facts and like little things about the new pack and like the new world that's coming without revealing anything major. But I do think they revealed the name of the new world and that it has 3 neighborhoods. I'm not remembering the name that they leaked right now. Innis Green or something like that. I'm not remembering. I'm so sorry. You're probably yelling at the screen right now, but it is really cute. I will try to remember to link that like secret website that's kind of just existing and like they post little updates to, I feel like every day or something like that, or every other day. It's really fun to keep an eye out for it and see how it sort of changes and how they add new information to it. I will say it's really strange because the graphics for the little sneak peek teaser thingy, like image or video, I guess. I think it's like a video on loop. The graphics for it are so different. It does not look like The Sims 4. It doesn't look like the game at all. It looks like an entirely, completely different game. So I don't know what to think about that. I'm obviously very, very excited for a new expansion pack, and it's definitely going to be nature themed. We're also getting a nature themed gameplay event coming to the game later this month. I believe they did talk about that with the most recent base game update that I believe was last week. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of like nature theme kind of stuff coming to the game, and I'm sort of excited about it, especially now that I'm in my cottagey Henford on Bagley area. I like the gardening and everything. Like, I'm really excited. I literally can't wait. I think it's going to be so cute as well for the summertime. And I don't know, I'm just really excited. But let me know what you think. Are you excited about whatever is potentially coming next with the next expansion pack? Would you be excited? Like, they didn't say anything about fairies specifically just yet. I don't know, maybe they will at some point, but they did tease like a tiny little sort of fairy looking house, like in some sort of like teaser image as well. So I have no idea, but if it was fairies that are coming to the game, I would be excited. I'm not at all an occult player, I will say that, but I'm definitely excited about the potential theme for the world from what we can tell from like what they've been like teasing us with. It just looks really cutesy and like green and nature inspired, and I think I've heard or read somewhere that potentially the new world is going to be New Zealand inspired. This I don't think has been confirmed. Maybe it has been, but it's just something that's been going around on the internet. So that would be so cool, and I don't know, I just am really excited for new things coming to the game. But like I said, I'm not at all actually an occult player. I do really like how the Sims team does occults for The Sims 4, with the exception of mermaids. We're not going to talk about mermaids. Mermaids are such a disappointment, and we're not going to talk about her. But all the other occults that we have in the game are so well done. They're so well thought out. I feel like they're very detailed with the systems behind them and like all the things that you can unlock and that you can do with the occults. I just think it's really well done. So that has me like, I have very high hopes for fairies if they are coming out with the next expansion pack. If that's actually what's happening, then I would be very excited to see, but mostly just for the build, you know, for the build theme and just the inspiration that it gives me whenever we get anything new, like a new world, a new build style or decoration style or whatever, you know. I'm just very excited to see what's next, and I'm always up for some new items. But let me know in the comments down below, would you be interested in fairies? And also, what do you think about all the things that they have been teasing us with? What are your thoughts? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. But in the meantime, you can tell that we are actually decorating the house at this point. We've already done the hallway, and we're currently working on the main living room space. And as you can see, it's sort of pink inspired, but it's not at all over the top pink or whatever. I'm definitely using pink details like these little throw pillows. The rug in the living room is pink. I'm also using these curtains that have some like pink but also other colors in them. And then I'm also still using green as an accent color. The previous not so berry pink gen cottage that I did was also very much pink and green because I can tell you a little bit about the Sims that I'm actually currently playing with. Of course, we have the pink gen heir. Her name is Wanda. From Fairly Odd Parents, Wanda Pink, you know. So yeah, that's her, and she used to have a career in the like in the business career. She used to be working in that, but then she actually did not enjoy that at all, and it's her dream to become a successful author. She wants to write books. She has the best-selling author aspiration as well. And that's also one of the main goals for the Pink Gen, is that you have to finish that aspiration and write a bunch of books and just, you know, become a successful author. So that's what we're working on with her. She actually just quit her business career, and she's now fully focused on writing. And I thought something fun for her to do would be to also own a small business on the side and actually host writing classes and give like little writing workshops and essentially like host sort of like a book club in a way where people read, people write, she gives classes, that sort of a thing. So I made sure to have the space for that over here as well. So we have a larger office where she can actually host those little classes and workshops with a whiteboard and everything, and it's completely functional. I did have to change some things because for writing classes, you actually need to have laptops for people to use, which does make sense, but it's not something I had initially placed. So if you are going to download this off the gallery and you also want to host your writing classes and workshops and whatnot, then you're gonna have to add some like computers and things to the office area, but I'll show you later, and we'll obviously also be going through the build in real time at the end of the speed build. But yeah, that's Wanda. She is now fully committed to being an author. She writes almost a book a day, and then she also runs the business, so she's very, very busy. And then actually she just had a science baby with one of her best friends, because Wanda is not into romance. She's never dated anyone. She's not interested in it. She doesn't care about that. So, but she does want a kid, obviously, because we need a Gen 9 heir. The Peach generation is next, and we need an heir. So she just had a science baby with one of her best friends, and the science baby, her name is Georgia, and she's going to be the next generation's heir. She just turned into a toddler, actually, so she's already been around for a little while, but she's very cute. So she also lives here, and I did decorate a nursery for her upstairs as well. When I was still building this, she had not been born yet, but I did create a little peach colored nursery in this house as well. Then we have Wanda's twin brother, Cosmo. You know, Cosmo and Wanda, you know, from Fairly Odd Parents. And you may have guessed it, but his color is green, just for fun. This is not in the rules for the Not So Berry Challenge or anything. He is not an heir. He's just a side character. But, you know, I turned him into the second main character, I guess, because I love him so much. He lives here as well with his wife. And Cosmo's color is green, and he's into gardening. One of the goals for the Pink generation actually is to have a well-maintained garden, which there we have Cosmo and his garden. So he essentially takes care of the yard, or the garden, I should say. He does a lot of gardening, and he is also in the gardening career. So that's his passion. He loves it so much. So he lives here with his wife, and Erin, she's very much into knitting and cross-stitching. She doesn't have a job, but she does a lot of knitting and cross-stitching, and then she sells those items every Saturday on the market at the Finchwick Fair. So she does a lot of cross-stitching and creating throughout the week, and then every Saturday we go out to the market or the Finchwick Fair and we set up our street sale, and then she sells everything, and it goes so quick. Like, everyone loves her stuff. She's really good at it as well, so that is really cute. She does that. So we have those 4 Sims, and then we also have an unexpected child in this house, who is Cosmo's and Wanda's step brother, actually. And he's quite a bit younger. He actually just turned into a teenager. They basically took him in when he was just a toddler because their dad was the orange generation heir, and he was not a good man. He was a horrible human being, and he was just not nice, and he was just absolutely horrible. If you know anything about the Not So Berry Challenge, and if you remember the orange generation, you'll know, like, they're sort of evil, and he was running a very shady business, and he did not look after his children whatsoever at all. And side note, he actually died very tragically in a very tragic cow plant accident that was definitely an accident and not something that I, planned to do at all. Like, that was just completely just an accident. So he unfortunately passed away, but he at some point did have the nerve to adopt a toddler when his children, Cosmo and Wanda, were already living in their previous cottage. They were fully like young adults living their lives and just trying to move on from their sort of traumatizing past with parents that did not look after them whatsoever. And then their dad actually called one day and he was like, you know what? I adopted another child, and this child actually really loves me. So essentially, I don't really need you anymore anyway. And that's when Cosmo and Wanda were like, we're not going to have that happen. It's literally like an unsafe situation for this stepbrother that we now have. So, or not a stepbrother. I said stepbrother before. It's their full-on brother because he was just like full-on adopted. So they were like, okay, we're gonna take our little brother away from our dad, and then we're gonna become his legal guardians, and then he's gonna live with us. So his name is D'Angelo, and he actually lives here too, and he has been living here ever since he was a toddler, and he is now a teenager. So we needed a bedroom, obviously, for him in this house as well. So at this point, that's quite a bit of Sims, and he's really cute. He is very much into like the outdoors. He obviously grew up with his brother and sister in the cottage, always surrounded by bunnies. At that point, we still had a mini sheep, surrounded by bunnies and birds and plants, and he just loves to be outdoors. He loves animals. And at that point, we also still had a raccoon. His name was Timmy Trash. He did pass away a little while ago, so that was a little bit upsetting. So yeah, D'Angelo lives here too, and I needed a bedroom for him as well. We also gave him a little hamster Poof. Actually, we're currently on Poof, so Poof the second, because the first Poof unfortunately died. I think I forgot that he existed for a little bit, and then he passed away. So that was kind of upsetting. We're gonna pretend that that never happened. But at this point, we actually do have a lot of things to take care of in this household, including a tiny human who is now a toddler, at that point still a kid. He's now a teenager, so it's a little easier. But, you know, we have that, and then we have a cow, we have bees as well, or not a cow, we have a llama, and then we have bees, and then we have the plants, and it's just a lot going on. At this point, we also have a dog, a new dog now, and I forget what we called the dog. I think... Oh, Chip Skylark. Yes, we called him Chip Skylark. Of course, we're still going with the Fairly Odd Parents. We also have Poof, obviously, and then we had Timmy Trash before. So, yeah, we're still going with the Fairly Odd Parents theme for the most part. We were gonna adopt a dog and either call it Vicky or Chip Skylark, and it turned out to be a male dog, so we went with Chip Skylark, and I think that that is an adorable little name for the dog. But I'm completely talking over all the rooms that we just did. We did the pink main bedroom, which is obviously Wanda's bedroom. I kept these bedrooms fairly simple because I was definitely keeping gameplay in mind, and I was sort of trying to mind the budget, because when it comes to this gameplay challenge, I kind of mind the money, but not really, and that makes no sense. I have no problem cheating for money if we need to like move house or anything, but during gameplay I don't cheat for money. So either it's because I want to move into a house that I love that I can't afford. That's really all I cheat for, if I need to move into a house that I can't afford. But still, I was trying to, you know, sort of mind the budget here and not place too many items. Obviously, I did a really bad job, and the house turned out to be very expensive. I think we couldn't even afford it when we sold our other cottage furniture and all. I think we were still missing like 25K in order to afford this house. So I did not succeed. I did a horrible job. So I did cheat for money and then moved in my Sims and then kind of like cheated their money away. So it's still sort of fair in a way. I'm not exactly sure, but that's usually how I go about it. But that's why I kept the bedrooms and stuff kind of simple. I was like, we're not going to spend a ton of time in these rooms anyway, so we might as well just keep them sort of simple. But then, of course, we do have the little hamster Poof, and he lives up there, so that's really cute. And then here we have the main office area where I placed a whiteboard for the writing classes, and I hadn't placed any laptops or computers for this one. So if you want to actually use this for like writing classes yourself, you're gonna have to like actually place a couple of computers, but the game tells you that as well, so it's not really too big of a deal. This area also has a little bathroom. We also have a small kitchenette here where I thought it'd be cute for Sims to just be able to grab some coffee or tea. I feel like that is a really cute book club kind of thing to have. So I went with that, and of course the theme for this, or the color scheme for this, is still going to be very green and pink. So I think that actually turned out really, really cute and cozy. I also set up a main desk for Wanda in here so she can sit down and do some writing. We have the little ticket kiosk so Sims can check into the business as well. Of course, we have the whiteboard and whatnot. I did end up shuffling some things around, like I said already, for this to actually be functional in the way that I wanted it to be functional. I did end up shuffling a couple of things around to just make things a little bit easier because it's kind of a small space and there's quite a couple of Sims that show up for the business when you open it. So, you know, you need some space to like walk around and whatnot. So I changed the setup for this a little bit, but not too much at all. And then we also have a couple of bookcases, of course, in here. We needed that, but then for the most part, I kept it very, very simple. And then I also ended up placing a couple of decorations here out on the front porch. I placed a chess table for a nice skill building item that's very useful because we need to work on that for Cosmo, I believe. But then that's going to be it for this house. So let's jump into the game and I'll show you the build in real time. So here we have the cottage in the game. I think it's very inviting looking and just super cozy, and it fits perfectly in Henford on Bagley. I so wish we had a couple more lots in this area. How cute would it be to have this like really tiny lot up here to build on, or this one on the other side for that matter? I would absolutely love that, but it's fine. Over here, of course, we have the facade of the house, and then across from it is where we have our little garden, and then we have our little cow over here. In my Not So Berry challenge, I actually chose a llama, but for playtesting over here, I went with a little cow. So cute! I just love this interaction. And then, of course, we have the front porch here, where I placed a small bench and also a chess table, but for the rest, I kept it mainly easy to route for your Sims. And then when we go inside, we just have this entryway over here where I place some storage and some decorations. There's a Jack and Jill bathroom over here that you can enter from the hallway, but also from this bedroom over here. I thought that would be very convenient, also routing wise. And then over here is the living room. I really like how this living room came out. I think it's so cozy. The colors are so nice and bright. And then combined with the dark brown, it just is very warm and inviting. We have a fireplace with a TV, and then just a bunch of decorations, a lot of books. Since there is an author living in this house, I felt like that would make sense. There's a piano over here just for vibes, and then these really cluttered little bookcases. Through this archway over here is where we have the sort of messy kitchen, but I really like how it came together. I know I've definitely been overusing these base game counters. It's essentially all that I use at this point, but they're so perfect for this house, so I had to go for it. And then the really cute fridge here with all the little stickers and things on it, I thought was so adorable. And then we have a nice 6-seater dining table, a round dining table to fill in the space here, and then a food bowl for a potential pet. I was thinking for a dog, but you can obviously also have a cat. I didn't really place any cat items here though, so you would have to go through and add a litter box and stuff. Over here is where we have the green themed bedroom for Cosmo. This one's very simple, but I really like the wallpaper. That just really does a lot for the room, I want to say. There's a cute little dresser area over here, and then this is where they have a door into that Jack and Jill bathroom. And then over here on the side, we have the office slash small business. So you can only enter this from the porch here. It has its own separate little entrance. There's a whiteboard here, a table for some writing and reading, a bunch of bookcases, and then also a desk for Wanda to sit down and do her writing as well. And then there's a small kitchenette back here, and also a bathroom. Then going upstairs, we actually have 3 bedrooms up here, which is really nice. So first of all, there's a landing that I kept very simple. And then I also created a bathroom over here. I only recorded one bathroom, only the downstairs one, because it'd just be a little too repetitive. But essentially there is a really nice full bathroom over here as well. Then over here is Wanda's bedroom, which is of course very pink, because she's the pink generation heir, so we had to do it. And then she also has a little vanity. I never use vanities, so it was kind of nice to be reminded of this one and actually use it in here. And then she has an ensuite over here, which is just very small. Over here is the peach and blue nursery. Peach is kind of a difficult color when it comes to decorating in the game. I don't know, I haven't really found that many peach colored items, but thankfully this storybook nursery set comes in somewhat of a peach shade, so that's what I went with. And then I just combined it with blue to, you know, make it a little bit more playful looking. And then this bedroom over here is D'Angelo's bedroom. I made it very blue themed. And then he just has a bunch of toys in here to sit down and play. And he also has his little hamster and a cute desk here as well. But then that is basically it for this build. So this English stone cottage is up on the gallery, but I did build it sideways. So as you can see, it looks a little silly on the gallery thumbnail, but you can still get a pretty good idea of what the house looks like. It comes in at just under 96,000 simoleons, so it's really not that cheap. I was trying to, but also not really at the same time, so it's definitely quite expensive, but it is built on a 30 by 20 in the world of Henford on Bagley, of course, so if you want to place it in your game, then that's where it goes. But that's gonna do it for today's video, so I really hope that you enjoyed this one. You can obviously go ahead and download this build off the gallery, like I just showed you. My username username on the gallery is Simmery Sims. You can follow me on Instagram if you'd like. My username on there is Simmery Sims as well. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, feel free to do so, and if you'd like to get notified every single time I upload, just click that little bell icon. I also live stream over on Twitch a few times a week, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and give me a follow over on twitch.tv/Simmery Sims. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!